Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm retired Colonel Frank J. Walker, and I have the distinct honor and privilege of serving as your Master of Ceremonies this afternoon for this prestigious event. It is my pleasure to welcome all of our military veterans and their families to this, the Calhoun County Vietnam Veterans Formal Lapel Pinning Ceremony. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please help me give a long overdue welcome home to the men and women who served our nation with dignity and pride and was never garnered the respect and honor they so richly deserved upon their return to their beloved country. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States of America's Vietnam-era veterans. Wasn't that great, ladies and gentlemen? One more applause for our Vietnam-era veteran. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce one of our true American heroes who received the United States of America's highest and most prestigious personal military decoration for his service and bravery in Vietnam. Ladies and gentlemen, Army and Vietnam veteran, Medal of Honor recipient, James C. McLuhan. Please go ahead and be seated. Our veterans can go ahead and take their seats along with their families. While they're doing that, let's give a big thanks to the American Legion Riders Post 298, the Patriot Guard and Blue Star Mothers for honoring our veterans and their families with a flag cordon, and the Cereal City Concert Band under the direction of Dr. Stephen White for that outstanding musical arrangement during the entrance of our veterans. Thank you so very much. While you're taking the seats, I've also been advised, ladies and gentlemen, that we have another distinguished guest. We have a World War II veteran in our midst today. I think he's located near the end. Let's give him a big round of applause and thank him for his service to this great nation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand if you're able as we honor America with a presentation of colors and remain standing for our national anthem, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the invocation. The 110th Attack Wing will present the colors. The Vietnam veteran and Medal of Honor recipient James McLuhan will sing our national anthem and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Terrace Todd will deliver the invocation. Color Guard, present the colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. God of our nation, we thank you for this awesome occasion. We thank you for your blessing upon our nation. We thank you, Lord, for the men and women who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, where they were willing to lay their own lives down to protect the lives of others. And Lord, we pray your continued blessing be with them and their families. We pray that your peace would go with them and with us and in our country. Father, we pray your blessing over this service, and we give you praise and glory that is due unto your holy and your righteous name. We love and honor you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The 110th Attack Wing Color Guard will now honor the military members of our profession of arms that are missing from our midst this afternoon.
As you entered the hangar today, you may have noticed a table at front, and it is important to tell you and bring your attention to its purpose. It is reserved to honor our missing comrades in arms. The empty places represent Americans, our men and women, still missing from each of the services. This honors their memory and symbolizes that they are here with us today in spirit. Some here in this room were very young when they went into combat. However, all Americans should never forget that the brave men and women who answered our nation's call and served the cause of freedom have served in a very special way. I would like to ask you to stand and remain standing for a moment of silence as the Honor Guard places the service covers at each empty place. Please be seated. Now, I would like to explain the meaning of the items that are placed on this special table. The table is round to show our everlasting concern for our missing men and women. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives when answering the call to duty. The single red rose, displayed in a vase, reminds us of the life of each of the missing and the loved ones and friends of these Americans who have kept the faith, awaiting answers. The vase is tied with a red ribbon, a symbol of our continued determination to account for our missing. A slice of lemon on the bread plate is to remind us of the bitter fate of those captured and missing in a foreign land. A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears endured by those missing and their families who seek answers still. The glass is inverted to symbolize their inability to share in today's event. The chairs are empty, for they are missing. Let us never forget America's POWs and MIAs and our efforts to account for them.
Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium a very strong advocate of our military, veterans, and their families, U.S. Air Force and Vietnam-era veteran, the Honorable Mayor of the City of Battle Creek, David Walters.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate tonight. Hello. Welcome to Battle Creek. But more importantly, I want to give a special welcome. On behalf of the 8 other city commissioners and 53,000 citizens of the city of Battle Creek, I want to thank all the guests and welcome them here, all the families and welcome them here, but more importantly, all the warriors that are here, welcome home to Battle Creek, Michigan. And also on behalf of those 53,000 citizens in the City Commission, we love each and every one of you. Also, on a personal note, I have a son right now that is overseas in the United States Army. And I told him that I was going to do this today, and he said, "Dad, would you give these folks a message for me?" He said 2 things. He said, one is, tell them we got this. And the second thing was, and you know that, hooah. And thank you very much, folks.
Thank you, sir. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce our host for today's event, an outstanding military leader and patriot, a decorated and seasoned United States Air Force and Air National Guard pilot, and a community leader, and more importantly, a close friend. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of this outstanding unit, the 110th Attack Wing, Colonel Brian J. Teff.
No, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, thanks. Wow. You didn't have to do that. It's our privilege to host this event. Thanks. And while we were clapping, I always want to give a shout out to our Honor Guard because they just do a phenomenal job. How about a round of applause for our Honor Guard? Well, again, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the men and women of the 110th Attack Wing, welcome to Battle Creek. It's really an honor and a privilege for us to even be part of this event today as we honor our great Vietnam veterans. It's just a great crowd. I'm glad to see almost all the seats filled. We have 1,000 chairs out there, so we probably have definitely close to 800 people in attendance, so thank you. In order to put one of these events on, you need the right type of leadership, and I would like to recognize both Senator Kowal and Senator Noss for the leadership they provided to make this event happen. Thank you much, sir. And it was mentioned before, but it really is a huge honor to have Mr. McLuhan with us today, a Medal of Honor winner. That's never happened here, I believe, at the 110th. This is our 70th anniversary this year, so it's a big year for us. And we'd like to give him another round of applause. Thank you much, sir, for your attendance. I think regardless of how long you served in the military or where you served, you know, the key topic, I think that resonates throughout the eras is service. That's service to our nation, service to each other. And that's in support of this great nation, as we have with clearly the best military in the history of the planet. So how about a round of applause for our entire military and all the branches of the service. And I think you'd be proud now here at the 110th. Right now we currently have over 60 people deployed all around the world, some in direct combat action, some in combat support action. We also have over 100 people mobilized on the base right now in support of direct combat action. So please keep those members in your thoughts and prayers and their families. Thank you. And then finally, I just want to wrap it up and say again, it's just an honor and a privilege really to be part of this event and to be the host venue site for this type of event. You're all great Americans, and this is a great nation, and thank you for coming out. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian. And thanks again for affording us the opportunity to utilize these tremendous facilities and visit the 110th Attack Wing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to recognize our distinguished dignitaries. First, though, I'd like to give a very special welcome to any of our Gold Star families, those who have lost a loved one in combat. If you are a Gold Star family, please stand or raise your hand so we can acknowledge you for your service and sacrifices you've endured for the freedoms we enjoy. Thank you very much. Again, our very distinguished and honored guest and one of our keynote speakers today, U.S. Army Vietnam veteran and Medal of Honor recipient, James McLuhan. And joining him today is his lovely wife, Cherie. I would also like to acknowledge and thank two of our state senators who are both very strong advocates of our military, veterans, and their families, for joining us today to honor our Vietnam veterans and participate with the pinning. First, our State of Michigan Majority Floor Leader from the 15th District, Mr. Mike Kowal. And from the 19th Senate District, Mr. Mike Knopf, which includes Calhoun County. We will hear from both of them shortly. The Honorable Mayor of Battle Creek and Vietnam-era veteran, Mayor Dave Walters. We are very pleased to have with us today the commander of the Michigan Air National Guard, Major General Leonard Isabel. General Isabel will also participate with the pinning. Again, our host and the commander of the 110th Attack Wing, Colonel Brian Teff. Also, a very distinguished Vietnam-era veteran and one of our keynote speakers today, my very close friend, U.S. Army retired Brigadier General Robert Sechrist. And I believe his lovely wife, Vicki, is here as well. There she is. Thank you for attending. Also in attendance, we have a number of political and civic community leaders, as well as many representatives from military and veteran service organizations. To ensure I don't miss anyone, I'd like for you to stand if you're a community leader or represent a military veteran or service organization, so we can acknowledge your service and support to our community and our military family. Please stand. Thank you very much. And in the audience today, in cities all over America, are many that served their country with dignity and honor during Vietnam. And next to them are their families, who exemplifies the courage and resolve that define our national character. For their country and their loved ones, they rise to the challenge in multiple deployments and frequent moves. Spouses who care and provide children in their partner's absence. Kids who make new friends and leave known comforts behind. They are the force behind the force. Patriots who support their family members in uniform while enriching the communities they all live and call home. Today's ceremony is not only about the veteran, but it's about their families, the unsung heroes. And today, when we salute our veterans, we are saluting you as well. Veterans, let's give our family members a big round of applause for their sacrifice and support to us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce State Senator Mike Kowal. He was first elected to the Michigan Senate in November of 2010. Now in his second term, he serves as Majority Floor Leader. He served in the Michigan House of Representatives from 1998 to 2002 and was a supervisor of the White Lake Township. As I mentioned earlier, a very strong advocate and supporter of our veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Kowal.
Thank all of you for allowing me to come here and share this with you today. After today, the ones that have received the pins will be one of some 11,000 people, Vietnam veterans and Vietnam-era veterans that we put pins on over the past 2 years. So give yourself a round of applause. We started doing these pinnings a little over 2 years ago. And it stemmed from a visit we had in our office by some World War II veterans. And there was a younger fellow driving them in because, as we know, people that served during the Second World War are moving a little slower than they did. And when we found out that where they served, Lynn O'Brien and my staff prepared certificates for them, and we handed them out. She found out that the fellow that drove the bus was a Vietnam veteran. We gave him a certificate as well, thanking him for his service And when I called him up to get it, he had tears in his eyes. And he told me, he said, this is the first time anybody has ever said thank you to him and welcome home. And walking back to our office, I turned to Lynn and I said, we can't let this go undone. So we did a pinning at the Capitol building in October, and we know the chances of the rain, but it wouldn't dare rain on such an event. So we had over 1,000 people showed up. We put pins on over 1,000 Vietnam veterans. We all know that you served with honor and distinction. We all know that you served in the best military force in the history of this planet, and still do. I need you to go or to know that your mission is not over. When you leave here today, go back home, think about your experiences, but your mission is to go out and share it, because we have to make sure that every young person understands what happened, what you went through, and what you went through when you came home. And it's our duty to make sure that that never happens again. So I want to thank you for your service. I want to thank you for your dedication. And above all, welcome home.
Thank you, sir. It is equally an honor to introduce State Senator Mike Knopf. I know firsthand he is a strong supporter of the military, as I have worked with him at many military events. Senator Knopf represents the citizens of the 19th Senate District. The 19th District includes all of Berry, Calhoun, and Ionia counties. Prior to being elected to the Senate in 2009 special election, Mike Knopf served 6 years in the State House of Representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Mike Knopf.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Colonel, for that nice introduction. I want to welcome all of you, as the mayor did, to Battle Creek. As you know, our town, we love the military. We've always honored and respected them, and this is just, well, it's a special day. But before I get into that, there's one other person that is my mentor that I want to get some special recognition to, and I think most of you in the crowd know him. He actually served 2 tours of duty in Vietnam and 1 in Laos. We all know of him as our former congressman and a doctor in town, Dr. Joe Schwartz. Joe, would you stand as we can recognize you, and thank you for everything you've done for this community and the military. Great man. I want to thank Senator Mike Colwell, my colleague, for working with me to put on this event. It is a lot of work. And also to thank Lynn of his staff, who, as we all know, as legislators, really does all the work. We're just the face. They actually do all the work behind the scenes. And on my staff, Patty Pastor. And I want to thank anyone else that was involved in putting on this ceremony today, and it couldn't have been done without you. Thank you. You know, I love my job as being your state senator, and the best parts of my job are doing events like tomorrow night. I'll be out in Fort Custer camping around the campfire with some Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, and they're interviewing for one of their badges, and they need to talk to a local legislator and or a community leader. And so my grandson happens to be in the group, so I'm really looking forward to that one. But it's those events and events like this that really have touched my heart and really make all the hard work, sacrifice, and dedication that we give to being your state senator to be able to put on events like this today. This is one out of my 16 years. It'll be 16 when I'm done next year, 15 today. But out of those 15 years, this is one of the best events that I've ever done, and I cannot thank and feel so glad and honored to be able to represent most of you here in the hangar today. So thank you very much for letting me be your state senator and doing things like this. I can tell you when I was 17 years old in Battle Creek, Michigan, it was a long time ago, by the way, and I remember very clearly the day that there was a lottery draft that was being held for my age group. I was going to Kellogg Community College that day, And I remember I skipped class because on the PA they were putting out the birth dates and the numbers of who would get drafted and who gets drafted first. And I remember that day. I loved guns. As you know, I got into law enforcement. I loved shooting things and helping people and doing all those things. But I can tell you that that day, I was torn. I would have loved to have been in the military. And I looked up to the Lord and I said, God, you have the plan. If you want me to serve, pick my birth date. If you don't, you got another plan for me, I'll honor and respect that. And there were a couple of us, about 10 of us around that table. We're all the same age. We're all in that lottery waiting for our birth date to be drawn. The friend next to me was drawn number 3 and went on to serve. I waited and waited and waited, and my number came up 256. So I have to tell you that I do really respect and honor, and sometimes I feel left out that I didn't get a chance to serve in our military. I probably should have volunteered looking back, and if I could do something again, I probably would do that because I do respect this country so much. I do also want to tell you that there were tough times back then. Socially, the country was going through a different period. My sister's boyfriend served in the Vietnam War, and he gave his life. He was a Penfield boy. And he was a great, great individual. I'm sure there are many stories like that that all of you have been touched with in some way from this Vietnam War that we all lived through. So I'm so glad today we actually took the time, and we never will forget those who are with us today, those who are not with us today, and those we do not know their whereabouts, who are missing in action. I just want to tell you, this event here, we never do forget those who served. Today we're here to honor all of you who served during that Vietnam War period. I also remember how you were treated when you returned home from the war of service or service during that time period. I have my own family members who served during that time, and they tell me how they were told before they came back to the States to not wear their uniform because they'd be disrespected. You want to go incognito. You want to sort of just blend in. Well, today is different. I want to apologize to all of you who may have been mistreated during that time frame when you came home. I want to say it's been too long, but today we are going to recognize you, and you so well deserve. So in closing, I hope you enjoy this experience today, and I for one want to say to you, on behalf of the people of the 19th Senate District, the state of Michigan, our great governor and lieutenant governor, Governor Snyder, and Lieutenant Governor Brian Callady. Thank you for your service. Welcome home, and thank you for keeping America a free nation. God bless you, your families, and God bless the state of Michigan, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Well, let's put the Stereo City Concert Band to work. What do you say, huh? Yeah. Well, you know, we couldn't do a military event without one of our favorite musical selections, who's going to be performed by our own Stereo City Concert Band, the Armed Forces Salute. So let's have a little fun with this. First of all, can you remember your service song? I'll help you if you can't there, but I would like all of the veterans and their family members to stand when your branch or service song is played. Are you ready for this? Okay. All righty, Stereo City Concert Band, let's start this. the United States Marine Corps. We missing the United States Navy. Ladies and gentlemen, your superior leading captain. Outstanding. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our first keynote speaker. He was raised in Bangor, Michigan. His dad taught him a simple but powerful lesson: never do anything without. Always do your best. He took that lesson very much to heart. In August of 1968, he was drafted into the Army. Within 6 months, he was trained as a medic and arrived in Vietnam. Right away, he poured all of himself into his duties, treating the sick and the wounded. Before long, all of his fellow soldiers called him Doc. I wish I had all the time to recall all the acts of bravery in Vietnam, which led to the award of his Medal of Honor. Although wounded himself and refusing to leave, in those 48 hours, he rescued 10 American soldiers and tended to countless others. He was one of 32 men who fought until the very end. They held their ground against more than 2,000 enemy troops. President Trump said it well, and I quote, "Jim's life represents so well Americans' unbreakable spirit." It's been 48 years since Jim's battle in Vietnam. He is now a husband, a father, and a grandfather. He coached high school football, wrestling, and baseball for 38 years, just like he said he would do. And he brought together every member he could find of his beloved Charlie Company. To many people in this room, Specialist 5 McLuhan has always been their friend, Jim. To others, he's been Coach. To those who bravely served with him in Vietnam, he's still called Doc. To his parents, Scotty and Margaret, both watching from heaven, he will always be their son. But today, to 320 million grateful American hearts, Private McLuhan carries one immortal title, and that title is Hero. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium U.S. Army and Vietnam veteran and recipient of the Medal of Honor, Specialist 5, James McLuhan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I did not wear my uniform today, my original uniform, because I felt I would be disrespected. I can't wear it anymore. You know, in the 1970s, a song came out, and I know many of you guys will remember this. It actually did come out. I'm not kidding here, okay? The name of the song was "Short People Have No Reason to Live." I don't think that's true, and I can tell you it's not true at all. You know, as of the last research that was done, those who fought in the Vietnam War, of the 2.5 million, there's a little under 1 million left. And yet there are nearly 14 million wannabes who claim that they fought in the Vietnam War, but they never did. There are no wannabes here today. And so let's get this out of the way, the most important thing. Brothers, welcome home, and thank you for your service. Also, thanks to all those active members that are here today that, as the mayor said, have our back. Those personnel that are out there, the men and women of the United States military, are in the trenches today, and we're lucky to live in the country that we live in where people step up and do that. But right up front here too, I'd like to thank, and all throughout this arena, are people who are what we call the leaders of what is the world's greatest military force and most compassionate force that there is. And I would like to say to you, thank you for your leadership. Also, thanks to those who have organized this for these men who have been so well forgotten over the years, and of course they weren't forgotten by their families, and all of that keeps us going. But I know if you don't know the title that Lynn O'Brien should have, it's called First Sergeant. These military men know what that is, and First Sergeant usually knows what's going on before the generals do. But thank you so much for recognizing these men with the 50th anniversary pin. It's great to be a Michigander here today and a Vietnam veteran. I'm going to just name about 3 important facts about yourself, Vietnam veterans. First of all, you made up less than 10% of the total population when you stepped up to the plate to serve in Vietnam. And if you were a trigger puller out there with a combat unit like I was, you were about 1%. 85% of you made a successful transition to civilian life. 97% of you were honorably discharged. I think that statistic is unprecedented in any war. I'll say it again. 97% of the Vietnam veterans were honorably discharged. This medal that I wear around my neck is all about love. It's a love so deep in the soul of 89 men in Charlie Company who fought the battle for Nguyen Hill that it really is immeasurable. I'm only the caretaker for those men who fought valiantly so that 32 of us could walk out. We had 12 killed, 1 missing in action. We had over 32 wounded and 30-some who were either injured and or overcome by the heat. I also wear this medal for every Vietnam veteran in this room. Vietnam vets will tell you that the real heroes aren't here with us today. They are the ones who paid the highest price and gave up their life for the freedom that we enjoy here in this room. But as President Reagan put it so realistically, they really gave up 2 lives. They gave up the life that they were leading at the time, and they gave up the life that some of us veterans feel guilty about sometimes. They gave up the life that they never got to live. They never saw their child in their Little League game. They never saw their child graduate from high school. They never walked their little girl down the aisle. They were missing at every holiday and family gathering. Yes, that's the price that an American fighting man will pay for your freedom. But I want you to know that all of you in this room today are heroes. I will say it again. You are all heroes. You signed your name on a piece of paper, and you promised the citizens of the United States of America and South Vietnam that you were willing to die for their freedom. You are all heroes. You are the true example of unconditional love. I will conclude with telling you one of my missions for the Vietnam veteran. We basically are the sons of the World War II veterans. We and our fathers came home from our war and we didn't talk about it. We both started a career. My father and I, coming home from our war, we both got married and raised a family. We built a house. But my father didn't have to brag or talk about his war because everyone else was talking for him. The Vietnam veteran came home to a divided nation, and they remained silent. I want you to know something. You are that same warrior that your father was. They were different wars and fought differently. But the man in the trenches was the same. And people can have their own ideas or opinions about the Vietnam War. And even if you hate the war, you better damn well love the warrior. Some have come home to find out that obviously they couldn't get rid of some of those things that they faced and looked dead into the eye in Vietnam, and that is something they call PTS. They used to call it PTSD, but it's not a disorder. It's stress, post-traumatic stress. They also have PTSI, post-traumatic stress injury, something caused from the injuries that these soldiers have faced. I finally went for counseling in 2011. I was a workaholic, as you heard. I did a lot of things while I was in my career, and it kept me from thinking about the things that I saw as a combat medic, and I saw some things that the common soldier doesn't see, because when they call for a medic, everybody else went in a different direction, and I went to the scene of the accident. And I never talked about those. I have guys that I coached with for 40 years. When it came out that I was going to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor, they said, I never knew. He never talked about it. Well, you know, there are some things you can't talk about. But I found out that it really helped when I finally discovered Brian at the Vet Center in Grand Rapids. He's a paraplegic ex-Marine, and sometimes we just BS but other times I tell him things that I haven't been able to tell anyone else. If you haven't done that, I would highly suggest that you do, that you go and see someone and let them listen. You know, if you cut your leg, you'd go to the emergency room right away. But it seems that the stigma of the mental or emotional illnesses and things that we battle take on a different kind of a thing. Don't be afraid. There's nothing wrong with you. I would say there's something wrong with you if there was something that didn't bother you about your experience and more. Please, go and see someone and talk to them. What I want this country to know is that my father and I, we're the same warriors. We both lived the hell on earth experienced in war. Your father and you both served, and you both deserve the honor and respect of the American people. So everyone may have their opinion about that war, but I'll say it again. Guys, I love you. I've been asked the question, would you go to war again? And my answer is, you know, you don't wake up in the morning and say, boy, I sure hope there's a war out there I can go to. But had I not gone to Vietnam, I would have never met the most courageous, caring, loving individuals that I've met in my entire life. They're sitting out here in front of me tonight. Gentlemen, you're unbelievable. You stood up when other people were running in a different direction, and you preserved that peace and liberty that everyone in this country enjoys. So I want to say, God bless you all. God bless the state of Michigan. And on a final note, I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there isn't any doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Outstanding, sir. Right size, too much hair. No, that wasn't that very inspiring, ladies and gentlemen. One more applause. I know what Brigadier General Seacrest is thinking right now. I have to follow that, but you'll do great, sir. Let me introduce our next keynote speaker, no stranger to the Battle Creek area, as he continues to serve the military, veterans, and their families long after retirement. General Seacrest was born in Iowa, graduated from the University of Iowa with a Bachelor of Arts degree in mathematics and the University of South Dakota with an MA degree in mathematics. General Seacrest joined the Iowa Army National Guard as a high school junior. After serving 4 years as an enlisted soldier, he was commissioned as Second Lieutenant, Corps of Engineer in November of 1960. General Seacrest served in numerous battalion command and staff positions, culminating as battalion commander in 1979 to 1982. Twice he was awarded the General McDonald Award for Outstanding Unit Leadership. And batteries he commanded received the General Eisenhower Trophy, the General Loveland Award, and the Superior Unit Award twice. General Sechrist graduated from the United States Army Command and General Staff College, and in 1982, he became the first Michigan National Guard officer selected for residency of the U.S. Army War College. He served 5 years as commander of the 72nd Support Brigade and served as Assistant Division Commander for maneuver of the 38th Infantry Division. General Sechrist retired from the U.S. Army in 1999 after 43 years of service. General Sechrist has received numerous military awards and medals, including the Legion of Merit. In 2008, General Sechrist retired from Kellogg Community College after 43 years as a mathematics professor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium Brigadier General Bob Sechrist.
Thank you, Colonel Walker. Thanks go to Senator Coball, Senator Knopf, the 110th Attack Wing, volunteers and supporters for making this event possible. Let us now show our appreciation with a round of applause for the countless hours and contributions they provided to make this lapel pinning possible for us. Medal of Honor recipient, Specialist 5, James McClellan, special dignitaries and guests, and most important, honored Vietnam War veterans. This is an overdue occasion to honor and pay tribute to our Vietnam War veterans. Way overdue. Let this be the day when we go forward and tell the story of the American Vietnam warrior. When the call came to serve, many volunteered. Many were drafted. You, every race, every creed, rich and poor, served with patriotism and honor for this great United States of America. All proudly did, all of you did. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let us tell of your courage, the courage you demonstrated, the bravery, the ingenuity, the integrity that's unique to the American warrior. Most important, through this entire war, you, yes you, the Vietnam warrior, won every battle. Yes, you won every battle in spite of what was said in the public. You were and you will remain our heroes forever. And we cannot forget our loved ones and families who sacrificed immensely too. When we went away, they worried about us. They missed us. They took care of our homes. They raised our children. They paid our bills. They did our household chores and other responsibilities that would normally fall on our shoulders. We also owe our families an extraordinary debt and gratitude for their service to the United States of America. When the Vietnam veterans came home, has already been said today, many Americans turned their backs on you. No celebration, no homecoming, no welcome, no thanks for your service and patriotism and honor. During that time, many did not even acknowledge you were serving in the military. And many veterans themselves did not even talk about Vietnam or their service in the U.S. military. However, regardless if you wear a uniform now or did in the past, I can personally affirm an undeniable truth. What makes and has made the United States military the best in the world has been men and women in uniform like you Vietnam veterans. Vietnam veterans are our most precious resource, and they should be honored for their contribution and service to this great nation. For veterans who served in Vietnam and other places, and for your families who also sacrificed when you served, this day is a day of heartfelt celebration and gratitude for your devotion and commitment to America so that we could have life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and freedom could continue and the prosperity of America could be maintained. So therefore, let us today celebrate and give the tribute to the Vietnam veterans who have given and are giving their service to this nation, which no pay can ever properly compensate, and no thanks are ever enough. So I ask all Vietnam era veterans who can stand, please stand now, and others raise their hand, so finally we can say to you, welcome home, welcome home, welcome home, welcome home. We celebrate you. Welcome home. The Vietnam veteran lapel that you're going to receive in a little bit is a symbol of your courage, strength, and service. You were proud of America, and we are proud of you. We do owe Vietnam veterans a huge thank you. In conclusion, let us really say from our heart and in unison, thank you. Let's all now stand, everybody stand now and give a resounding round of thanks to our Vietnam veterans. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Duty, honor, country. May God bless our Vietnam veterans. May God bless you. May God bless Michigan. And may God bless this great United States of America.
One more time, Brigadier General Seacrest, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I know you admit, didn't we get two outstanding keynote speakers today, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, let's give them both another big round of applause. Now we're going to have the lapel pinning ceremony, but you have to make me a promise. Can you do that? You got to make me a promise. We asked it out of respect for all of our Vietnam veterans and their families that you do not leave after the pinning. We still have a great conclusion to this outstanding ceremony that we want you to be a part of. Okay, I'm going to stage how we're going to do it, but please don't leave. If you, after your pinning, you want to go back, you want to grab a sandwich, whatever, while we're waiting for the other veterans to be pinned, you may do so, but please don't leave, as we're going to have a musical selection, echo taps, and conclude with a flyover by our Hooligans flight team to end this great festivities. Promise? All right. Thank you very much. Now on with the lapel pinning. Let me stage it for you. We will have 4 lines. You see the tables here in front of me? The pins will be presented by our 2 senators and Major General Isabella. Also, I think Colonel Teff is going to assist us, so we'll have 4 lines. You'll come up, you'll get your pen. We'll have some volunteers up here helping you as you come up. After that, you'll go over here to Lynn O'Brien. Lynn, stand up so they can see who you are. And she will ask for your name, branch, and the years you served in Vietnam so that we can make sure we honor you individually. We've honored you as a group. This is your chance to receive your pin and be recognized individually. Now, I understand, General Seacrest, that you did not receive your pin yet from the Vietnam era pin. So, sir, if you would come up here, we'd be very honored if you would lead our veterans to the table and receive your pin to begin this pinning ceremony. So please come up. Please come up, ladies and gentlemen. There we go, all of our folks. Name, branch, and the year you served.
Neil Eugene Vanderbilt. Okay. Neil Eugene Vanderbilt. Served in the Army 1966 through 1968.
Charles Baker, United States Air Force, 1971 to 75.
Thank you, sir.
Mike Leatherman, United States Navy Seabees. In Vietnam, 1966, 67, 68, and January 69.
Thank you for your service.
Joe Schwartz, United States Navy Battalion Surgeon, 2nd Battalion, 1st Marine Regiment, and 3 years of service with the Central Intelligence Agency, Southeast Asia.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Nice to see you again, sir.
Nice to see you, man. Take care. Good job.
Thank you.
John Bison, Medical Corps, 73 through 90 through 80, 89.
George Rob Beam, U.S. Army, Vietnam, Queen Yan, on case 6667.
Thank you for your service,
You're
sir.
more than welcome. Yes, sir.
Joe Goss, 405th Field Maintenance Squadron, Da Nang Air Base, Vietnam, 1968.
Steve Frazier from Battle Creek, Michigan, 172nd Air Force, 1971 to 1973.
Bobby Johnson, Battle Creek, year in Vietnam, 66, 67, with the 5th Mechanized Division, Quan Creek.
All I want to say is welcome home, brothers and sisters. God bless y'all.
Fred Lynch, 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines, 68, 69.
Richard Sanders, Army, 67, 68, Vietnam. Welcome home.
Thank you for your service.
David Hawks, YN3, USS John W. Thomason, 67, 68. Welcome to all my brothers.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Welcome home, vets. I'm Mike Morey from Battle Creek, United States Navy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam McFallon, Vietnam, 68, 69. Thanks for your service, guys.
Jim Geisel, United States Army, Pleiku, South Vietnam, 67, 68. Sentry Dog.
Thomas Morey from Battle Creek, United States Navy, 1966 to 1970.
Tom Taft Marshall, 4th Infantry Division Army, 67, 68. Herb Schaefer, Air Force, 3 tours, 64, 66, 69, Special Operations.
Tom Robertson, Air Force, 67, 68, Vietnam.
Bruce Richardson, United States Army Medical Corps, 1964 through 1967.
Ralph Chapman, Battle Creek, Michigan, U.S. Army, 67, 68, 70, 71.
Mike Ron, 68, 69. Thank you.
Don Cuyava, Chicago, Illinois, 26 Marines, Quezon, 68, 69.
Bob McInnes, 28 years in Marine Corps. That's it.
Roger Hodge, Battle Creek, U.S. Army, 69 to 70, July, South Vietnam.
Jim Pena, 1st Battalion, 27th Artillery, 25th Infantry Division, 67-68.
Ken Bennett, U.S. Navy, Da Nang, 67 or 66, 67. Thank you.
United States Army, Ray Shafe, Battle Creek, Michigan, Marical Division, 2 tours, 68, 69. Thank you.
Ken Byers, 4th Infantry Division, 1967-1968.
Kim Tuck, U.S. Air Force, Munitions Officer, 1969 to 1975.
Terry Bingham, 36th Infantry, 36 Signals, attached to 25th Infantry.
Michael Dawson, U.S. Air Force, 1962 to 66.
Richard Logan, 5th Army Engineers, 56 and 59.
Respect for U.S. Army.
Richard Vogelma, Kalamazoo, Michigan. Served with the United States Navy. I was a medic with the 3rd Marine Division in Quezon, Phu-Bai, and Mekong Delta, 66, 67. Thank you. Airman First Class Gary Bland, Vietnam, Dang Ha, Kon Tum, Forward Air Control Team.
John Pyle, Battle Creek, U.S. Army, 1st Logistics Contained, 66, 69. Welcome home, everybody.
Tony Goodman, U.S. Army, 69 to 71. I'd like to remember my cousin Norman, who died in Vietnam in January 1969.
Larry Metcalf, U.S. Army Medical Corps, 69 to 71.
Jack Brubaker, United States Marine Corps, 1965-1966 in Vietnam.
Ken Page, 1st Division, 101st Airborne, 327 Fighting Tigers, 64 to 67.
Philip Essex, United States Army Medical Corps in Vietnam in 67 and 8.
Joseph Pajak, U.S. Army, era 61 to 63.
Jim Gordier, U.S. Army 6970, Korea.
Stephen Lutz, U.S. Navy from 1970 to
U.S. Army MP, Da Nang Air Force Base, 7172.
Robert Wills, 5th U.S. Army Artillery Group, 71 to 74.
Sergeant Henry Quant, United States Army, and USS Benoit. Thank you.
Major William Bradley, Battlefield Commission, 1968, with the Thunder Chickens.
Welcome home. Right here, young man. Sir? Sir, right here. Go ahead. Introduce yourself so we can get it out in the public address for now.
Rodney Collins, 101st Airborne Assault Helicopter Division, Northern Night Corps, 6970.
You okay? Come on up here, young man.
Ken Matus, United States Army, 1973, 1976, 3rd Armored Division.
All righty. Welcome home.
Thank you.
Right up here, young man. Right up here.
Michael Green, U.S. Army, Vietnam, 1967 and 68.
Right up here. Right up here.
Sergeant First Class Roger Hoxie, Jackson, Michigan, 704th Maintenance Battalion, 4th Infantry Division, Pleiku, Vietnam. Retired 2005, 34 years of service.
Right. Thank you for your service.
Stephen Pasick, Kalamazoo, Sergeant, 1st Air Cab, Air Mobile, 7th Cab, Custer's Cab.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Right up here, young man.
Art Hollings for Springfield, Michigan, 320th Bomb Wing, 1962 to 1966.
Thank you for your service. God bless you. Right over here, young man. Right over here.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you are? Go ahead, your name, when you served.
Bob Irwin,
Oh, Bob.
United States Navy, Battle Creek, 2 aircraft carriers, the USS Ranger and the USS Yorktown from 1960 through 66.
All right. Well, thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
All righty.
I wasn't drafted.
Right over here. Right here.
John Connor, Specialist 4th Class, Vietnam, 6970.
Thank you for your service. God bless you.
Sir. And thank you for the welcome home.
Right here, young man.
Thank you.
Ray Van Lith, 101st Airborne, 66.
Thank you. God bless you.
Doug Lovett, Army, F Troop, 17th Cav, 7071.
Welcome home.
Daryl Nichols, United States Marine Corps, 7th Engineer Battalion, 3rd Marine Division, 68 through 70.
Welcome home. Thank you. Next. Right here, young man.
Art Cable, 63 to 67, U.S. Navy.
All righty. God bless you. Right over here, young man. Right here.
Michael J. Atherton, 11th Armored Cav, August 1966, August 1967. I'm a boat person.
All righty. God bless you. Welcome home.
Stan Lawrence, United States Marine Corps, 1968, 9, and 70.
God bless you. Welcome home, man. We have an important paper up here. It belongs to Robert Earl Irwin, United States Navy. You dropped this piece of paper. It's your DD 215. Well, don't want to lose that.
Gene Gillette, Army, 68 and 69 in Canton.
Welcome home.
Thank you, sir.
You can speak for me, Colonel.
Rick Franz, Battle Creek, Michigan, United States Marine Corps, Vietnam, 69, 70, and 71, and the Battle Creek Air National Guard Base from 1984 to 2011.
Who up?
Thank you, Colonel.
Welcome home, buddy.
John Atkinson, Naval Support Activity, 1971-1972. Welcome home, brothers.
Welcome home, buddy. Thank you.
Rick Carter, Sergeant, 82nd Air Tactical Command, Thompson Ute.
Welcome home, buddy.
Thank you, brother.
David Rose, Sergeant, U.S. Marine Corps, 67 to 68.
Welcome home.
Don Bain, Battle Creek, Michigan, U.S. Navy, 68-71.
Welcome back. Welcome home.
Michael Clissold, 1970 to 74, United States Navy, submarine service.
She'll get you. You won't get through. You won't get by here. Go ahead.
Okay. Davis Robert E., 173rd Airborne Brigade, 66-67.
Welcome home. Thank you, sir. Tom, get up here, my man. Thank you, sir.
Theron Winchell, 64-65,
All right.
United States Navy.
All right, Tommy. Welcome home, buddy. Welcome home.
Tom Knight, Air Force, Cameron Bay, 67-68, 12th U Staff Hospital.
Welcome home, man. Welcome home, buddy.
Thank you. Dave Waters, Vietnam, 1965 and 66.
Welcome home, buddy.
John Wood, Battle Creek, Michigan, 1st Battalion, 5th Marines, Bravo Company, 66 and 67.
Welcome home. Thank you. Welcome home, buddy.
Thank you. Cecil Rand, U.S. Navy, 62, 63, 64, 65.
All righty. Welcome home again. Thank you. Young man.
Bill Morris, U.S. Army, 67, 68, 4th Infantry Division, 173rd Airborne.
Welcome home. God bless you.
Thank you.
William D. Boykin, United States Marine Corps Sergeant, USMC, 67 to 69.
You sound like a sergeant, too.
Oh, yeah.
You got it.
I had to be. I was on the drill field.
Right up here, young man.
Roy Rogers, U.S. Army in Vietnam, 67 through 69.
Roy Rogers?
Yep.
Were you a relative of Dale?
Yeah.
Rode into town.
Exactly.
They wouldn't let me bring my horse in.
That's great because I come from the herd. Okay? The Sky Soldiers of the 173rd Airborne Brigade.
All right. Welcome home.
Okay? And retired Staff Sergeant Michael K. Cox.
All righty. God bless you. Welcome home, young man.
Thank you, sir. Staff Sergeant Ronald L. Lyles in 1967, 1968, and 69.
Welcome home. Welcome home, young man.
Thank you, sir. Paul Mensch, Jackson, Kalamazoo, Michigan. Sergeant First Class, U.S. Army, Vietnam, 1967 to 70. Back again in 71 and 72. And 1 year in the Air Force right here.
Welcome home. Right here, young man. We'll give you your name, branch you served, and what year.
My name is Donald Victor McKissick. My nickname is Mr. Jingles from Kalamazoo. I volunteered for the Salvation Army 20 years now, 30 years in a nursing home, and I thank God I'm home. And I thank God that I'm home, and I thank God that we're recognized, because I tell you, I wasn't no baby killer.
All righty. God bless you. Welcome home, young man.
God bless you, brother.
God bless. Hey. Right up here. There you go.
John Finch, Spec 4, September 70 to 71.
Get right up here, my man.
Larry Skelly, United States Air Force, 6200 Security Police Squadron, 1967, 1971.
All righty. Good.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
John Garrett, Brooke Army Medical Center, United States Army, 1972 to 1974.
God bless you. Right here, young man.
Colonel. Dave Mihalich, United States Air Force, enlisted 1969, in country, 70-71, retired 2011.
Right here.
Felton Harrell, United States Army,
Vietnam Nha Trang, 71 to 72.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for your service. Right here.
Colonel.
Good to see you. God bless you.
William Mary, Vietnam, Dong Ha, 68, 69.
God bless you.
United States Marine Corps.
Right here, young man. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. God bless you. Thank you for your country. Get right over here, my man. How you doing, buddy?
Ken Vanderpaul, 1966, Big Red 1.
Dropping pins. Right here, sir. Name, branch you served, and what year?
Robert Ernst, 3rd Reconnaissance Battalion, 3rd Marine Division, December 67 to January 69. Every damn day of 68.
All righty, buddy. Thank you. God bless you. Hey, welcome home.
Glad to be home.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
Sergeant Ruben Cervantes, 18th Combat Engineer Brigade, Vietnam, 1968.
Welcome home.
David Peck, Navy, 1968-69.
Thank you. God bless you.
William Hay, 73, 74, Vietnam, Calvary.
Jim Wallace, the Air Force, 1959 to 1967. I'm so glad your hand's doing better.
Thank you. Welcome home.
I won't ask what happened.
Welcome home.
Colonel, thank you, sir.
Not a problem. Welcome home. Right here.
Appreciate that.
Right here.
Skip Bussart, retired Chief Master Sergeant, 62nd, 51st U.S. Air Force Dispensary, Benoit, Vietnam, 70-71. Thanks, sir.
Welcome home, Chief.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Spec 4, Gary Heydrich, 1968, 1970. Sometime my friend. Welcome home, buddy.
Thank you.
Dave Wallbeck, U.S. Army, 67, 68.
Welcome home. Welcome home, you.
Thank you. Doug Struble, Battle Creek, Michigan, Benoit, 71, USF Hospital.
Welcome home.
Bob Scott, U.S. Army, 101st Airborne, Combat Infantry, Machine Gunner.
All righty.
68, 69.
Welcome home.
Bill Spooner, United States Army, 69, 1970, I Corps Artillery, South Korea.
Welcome home, my man.
Thank you.
God bless you. Right up here.
Carlos Oliveras, Kalamazoo, Michigan, served in Vietnam, 71 to 72.
I like all that stuff. Looking
Thank
good.
you, sir.
God bless you.
Fred Culp, Battle Creek, Michigan, U.S. Navy, 1962 to 1967, Da Nang for 10 months.
God bless you. Welcome home.
Thank you.
Thank you. Charles Osborne, Climax, Michigan, U.S. Army, Medical Corps, Vietnam, 1966-67.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
Robert McMaster, Athens, Michigan, U.S. Marine Corps, 67, 68.
Welcome home. God
Thank
bless
you, sir.
Darren Allred, Sergeant, 4th Infantry Division, 1970, 101st Airborne Division, 71.
God bless. Thank you.
Mike Mooney,
116th Assault Helicopter Company, Coochie, March 67, March 68, retired Michigan Army National Guard. Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you, sir.
William Holton, USMC, 72 to 75.
God bless. Welcome home, buddy.
Bruce Robbins, U.S. Army, Fubai, 1970.
God bless. Welcome home.
Thank you.
DJ Holton, 1973 to 76, Army, Air Defense Artillery.
Yeah, my name is Howard Denny, U.S. Navy from 66 until 70.
Welcome home.
Mike Galloway, 67, 68.
Welcome home.
Thank you, sir. I was a General's aide.
Say that you're in the Army for all those years.
How you doing, my buddy?
Hey,
Welcome home.
Yep, so soon. What do you got to know?
Your name? Your branch?
James Clark, Sergeant First Class,
What branch?
Army.
Army, and when did you serve?
1948.
I retired after 21 years.
21 years. 1948, right?
Yep.
1948. Thank you for your service. God bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Right here, sir. You'd like to give your name, your branch, and what year you served?
Oh, wow.
You can do this.
66, 62 to 68.
What's your name?
Columbus Lipsy
Okay, and
from
what?
Kalamazoo,
Was you in
Michigan.
the Army?
In the Army, yeah.
I can tell. You got an Army sign. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank
God
you.
bless you, bud.
Thank you. Oh, I'll do this way.
Thank you for your service. God bless.
Thank you, sir. Tom Mullen, 66 to 69, 11th Recon.
Thank you for your service. God bless you. Welcome home. Welcome home, buddy.
Bob Augustine, Spec 4, U.S. Army, I Corps, 1969, 1970.
God bless.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Art O'Leary, Army Security Agency, 1970-71.
Thank you. I get to shake your hand again.
Thank you.
Wayne Robinson, Navy, Patrol Squadron 17, Cameron Bay, 66, 67, 68, USS Coral Sea, 73, 74, 75.
Over here, we want to shake your hand.
Captain Lauren Clements, Climax, Michigan, United States Army, 1968 through 70, in country 1969.
Steve Trammell, U.S. Army, in country for 67, 68, 198 Light Infantry Brigade.
Lynn Ayler, retired U.S. Army, Sergeant First Class, 66, 67, 70, 71.
Sergeant William J. Vandergriff, Mike Company, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, 1966 through 1967.
Lee Esterline, U.S. Marine Corps, 72, 74.
How you doing?
Hey, all right. Phil Burt, 66 through 70.
I thought you'd remember your name.
U.S. Army, 73 to 75.
Welcome home. Come on, sir. Right up here, my man. Don't be shy.
I'll tell her good. Jim Hammond, 101, 72 through 74.
You don't want to sing or anything? Okay. Welcome home, man. What? That's all right. I got it. I got it. Go ahead.
Gary Hammond, Sergeant, U.S. Army, 1969 to 71.
There you go, sir.
Thank you.
Too long to get it. Hey, buddy. How you doing, my brother? Good. Right here.
Cordell Gardner, United States Navy, 1971, 1974, Da Nang.
Right up here, right up.
I am Kenneth Blunt from Albion, Michigan. I served in the Vietnam War as a Marine Corps from 1970 to 1972.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. Hey, hey, don't go nowhere. Hey, right here.
This line?
You got to tell your name. You guys thought I was getting away, man. No, you didn't get away. Right there, she wants to take a picture, man.
Tom Rowley, retired United States Air Force, Vietnam 68, 69.
Thank you, sir.
Which line?
Right here, right here.
Pete Abraham, United States Air Force, 65 to 67.
All righty. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Welcome home, sir. Go Air Force.
Clyde Morgan, U.S. Navy, 62, 65, Air Force, 83, 88.
How you doing, young man?
Very good.
Welcome home. God bless you.
Oh, brother. Hey, bro.
Ernie Morgan, U.S. Army, 67, 69.
All right. Good job. Hey, buddy. How you doing? How you doing? Got something for you here. Go ahead. Good man. Louis Cooper, 509th Radio Research Group, Canto, Vietnam, 1971-74. God bless you, buddy.
Walt Baggett, Marine Corps, 65, 66.
Welcome home, sir. Thank you. Oh, my God. What's going on, Frank?
My man, come on, my man.
All right,
Eddie Davis, headquarters 95th MP Battalion, Vietnam, 1969 through 1970. My man. All right. Thank you, buddy.
God bless you.
How you doing, sir?
You all right?
Very good. Marty Martinez, 1972, 4th Infantry Recon.
God bless you. Hey, buddy.
How you doing, sir?
Randy South, United States Marine Corps, 74.
Thank you.
Bill Koontz, 1961 to 64, United States Army.
God bless.
Tom Byes, Battle Creek, Michigan, Navy, ET-2, Cameron Bay, United States Naval Communication Station.
God bless you. Thank you very much for your service.
A.C. Grimes, U.S. Army, 67 to 69.
God bless you. Thank you for your service. Right here, my man. You can't get by me. You can't get to the general unless you go through the colonel.
Rick Hammond, 67 to 69, Vietnam 68.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for your service. Right here, young man.
Ron Petty, Army, 65, 67.
God bless. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Paul Puschel, 31st Combat Engineers, 68 and 69.
Thank you for your service.
Oh.
God bless, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pete Bray, Sergeant Marine Corps, 1969 to 76, in country in 72.
Thank you for your service. God bless. Thank you, sir.
Staff Sergeant Floyd Banks, 11th Armored Cav, 69 and 70.
All righty.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Thank you. Dwayne Sheldon, USN, 66 to 70. As a cook, fix all that good food for the military guys.
All right. God bless.
Thank you, sir. Dan Peacock, Portage, Michigan, United States Army, 1967 to 70.
Sergeant James Willis, Plainwell, Michigan, U.S. Army, 1st Battalion, 3rd Infantry, Sentinel, Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers, 71 to 75.
God bless. Thank you.
Chuck Boterford, Battle Creek, Michigan, Staff Sergeant, United States Air Force Security Police, 1971 to 1975.
Yeah. Floyd Carmichael, United States Air Force, 67, 68.
Terry Ivy, United States Army, 6970.
William Campbell, Battle Creek, Michigan, 6971.
Welcome home, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Bob Bohennick, Marshall, Michigan, U.S. Air Force, Natrain, 1969, 1970.
God bless. Welcome home. How you doing? Hey, welcome home, buddy.
Joe Kaderi, United States Army, Americal Division, 196 Light Infantry, LZ Center, I Corps, South Vietnam, 1970-71.
Hey, we got a female here. All right.
Phyllis Goodall Carlin, 68, 69 U.S. Air Force.
All righty. Thank you very much.
I think I met you at Gullway High School.
I was. I spoke there, yep. Oh, all right.
Dennis Reed, Athens, Michigan. Chief Warrant Officer, B Troop, 7th Squadron, 17th Air Cavalry, 6768.
Thank you for your service.
Hi. Dan Tesson, Kalamazoo, Vietnam, 1967-68, the Northern I Corps with the United States Mud Marines.
All right.
Dennis Struble, Battle Creek, U.S. Army Medical Corps.
God bless you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Spec 5 Ray Elsey, nickname Buster, 101st Airborne, 6768.
God bless you. Thank you for your service.
Oh, Frank.
Hi, how you doing,
Good,
buddy?
good.
Charlie Shuckle, Army, 2nd Infantry Division, DMZ, Korea, 6869.
Yeah, we got to get together with the boys.
Hey, we'll do that.
All righty, bud.
Thanks, sir.
How you doing? God bless.
101st Airborne Division, 65, 66, 67, Vietnam.
How you doing, young man?
I'm fine. Pete Wagoner, Spec 4, Tan An, served in Vietnam from 68 to 69.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Sergeant Dan Madden, 6667.
Sergeant David Martin, Army, 68 to 70.
Thanks, Dave. Welcome back.
Petty Officer, 3rd Class, Thomas Simmons, United States Navy, 67 and 68. Thank you, sir.
Mark Kelly, in service, 1970, U.S. Army.
Jerry Morgan, Muskegon, Michigan, Vietnam, 1966, again in 1967.
Clifford Walter, 74 to 78, Vietnam.
Thank you for your service.
Don Noga, 64 to 68, U.S. Navy.
Spec 5, David Ludlow, 2nd Field Force, Vietnam, February 68 to September of 69. Oh, okay, thank you.
Staff Sergeant Earl G. Taylor, U.S. Army Artillery, 71 to 91.
Thank you.
Martin Bover, 1960 through 1964, United States Air Force.
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome, sir.
Dan Keith, U.S. Army from 68 to 70.
God bless you.
Ken Klein, Spec 4, U.S. Army, 70 to 72.
God bless you. Thank you for your service. Hi, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Winsauer, Battle Creek, Michigan, United States Army Specialist, 7th Evac Hospital, 1966, 1970.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? Hey, Jerry.
Excuse me, sir. How are you? Good to see
buddy.
you again,
Good to
Colonel.
see you.
Jerry Works, South Bend, Indiana. Let's go Irish. United States Marine Corps, Vietnam, 70-71, machine gunner. Excuse me, sir.
Robert Niswander, Coldwater, Michigan, U.S. Air Force 6667.
And then you have enough bumper stickers for those two?
Right here, young man.
There you go. Thank you.
Michael J. Barnes, Battle Creek, Vietnam, 69-270.
Righty, thank you. That's all right. Don't worry about it. God bless you. Thank you.
Larry Bales, United States Army, 1969 to 1993.
Larry, thank you. Welcome home, buddy.
Jerry Rudloff from Niles, Michigan, 67, 68. I was a E5 medic, Vietnam in 68.
Righty. Thank you for your service. God bless you.
My name is George Hefner, U.S. Army, 1966 to 68. In country, 1968. Combat medic with a Big Red 1, 1st 28th.
All right. God bless. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
How you doing, Frank?
Hey, how's it
You
going?
know
buddy?
me?
Yeah.
Steve Sutherland.
Yeah.
On the other side of Valhalla.
Yeah.
Sergeant Steve Sutherland, Vietnam, 6970.
I remember you. Nice seeing you.
Good to see you.
Hi, Jen. Hi, Colonel. Fine. Larry Glass, Kalamazoo, Michigan, 1962 to 63, Tonson Newt Air Base.
God bless. Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Spec 5, Jim Fitzgerald, medic, Vietnam, 67, 68.
Gary Estemeyer, U.S. Army, Quin Yan, 68, 69.
Colonel Walker,
Frank?
who's supposed to call? Barb is supposed to call Tom, right?
Yeah, they're working it. Yeah, they're ready.
They already done it?
They're already working it. They got it.
Lynn Savage, United States Marine Corps, 70-74, Vietnam, 72.
Yep. Two shifts.
You know what? All I do is
The
Colonel? Otto Smead, Pawpaw, Michigan, U.S. Air Force. I was a maintenance crew chief for B-52 bombers in Vietnam, 1970-71. God bless you.
Johnny Vick, Battle Creek, Michigan, U.S. Army, in country, 1967 to 68.
How you doing, sir?
Good.
Neil Penny, Kalamazoo, Air Force, 1969-60.
I know. Trying to remember back there.
Yeah.
God
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, I don't know. It was a while back.
Thank you, sir. Dave Walters, Battle Creek, Michigan, United States Air Force, 32nd Tactical Fighter Squadron, 74 to 78. Thank you. Thank you.
Doyle Towery, U.S. Navy, 65 to 67.
All right, welcome back.
Thank you.
Right here, young man.
Joe Maloka, U.S. Navy, 1966 to 1970.
Tom Elsley, Galesburg, Michigan, United States Navy, 66 to 70, Vietnam.
Thank you. Welcome home.
How you doing?
Paul Van Gotham, U.S. Navy, Vietnam, 1975.
Paul Rose, 25th Infantry Division, 1968. Thank you, sir. Good to see you. Yeah.
Yes, you can. I just don't want to miss this man. Thank you for your service that you're brought to me.
Did you speak in here, sir?
This is your...
You don't want to speak. That's all right. You're trying to squeeze out of there.
I get sidetracked awful easy.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Just your name, branch, and what year you served.
Corporal Glenn Back, 2nd Cavalry Regiment, 54 to 58.
Here you go, sir.
Sir, there you go.
I've done it.
Oh, okay. Thank you for your service.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a field that we're just finishing up. If you can make your way back to the seats so we can do the final conclusion of this outstanding ceremony, I think you're going to be very, very pleased with the conclusion. So if you could find your way back to your seats, we'll get started. We just got a few more up here and then we'll be ready to go.
Give your name and where you served. You want to give your name and where you served?
Oh.
Let me think. Don't work like it used to. Phil Colombo, U.S. Army, Quan Tri, Cameron Bay. The years are 68 and 70.
Ready? Captain Carl Middlebush, Saigon 7071, military intelligence.
Thank you. Welcome home.
Let's give all of our Vietnam veterans another big round of applause. Wasn't that great? Great pinning ceremony. Before the Stereo City Concert Band leads us all in the singing of God Bless America, let me repeat that. Leads all of us in the singing of God Bless America. Afford me the opportunity to acknowledge those who made this program a huge success and set the stage for you on what's going to happen next. Of course, all of our participants today and all of our dignitaries, let's give them another big round of applause. Let me represent the folks that really behind the scenes put this on for us today. Our co-chairperson, Lynn O'Brien, Director of District Affairs, Office of Senator Mike O'Neill. Co-chairperson, Sherry Swan, U.S. Army veteran. John Cash, U.S. Army Vietnam veteran, DAV Chapter 7. Back there on the camera. Thank you, John. Terry Ivey, U.S. Army Vietnam veteran. Where you at, Terry? Thank you. Andrew Layton, 2nd Lieutenant, Michigan Air National Guard, Public Affairs Officer, Chief, and also Information Protection. Thanks, Andy. Great job. Right over here, ladies and gentlemen. He wore the camouflage. He tried to play incognito today, but we can see him.
Commander Gordon H. Rosberg, Jr., retired U.S. Navy Reserve. Thank you, Gordon. Phil Savage, U.S. Air Force Vietnam veteran dog handler. He's out here somewhere. Thank you, Phil. We couldn't leave without thanking Colonel Brian Teff and his entire staff here at the 110th Attack. Didn't they do a great job today? Thank you very much. And I know that Brian thanked them again. I do a lot of these events, and I'm always impressed with the professionalism and the outstanding job they do. The Color and Honor Guard, the 110th Color Guard, and I thank them again for all they do for our community. Thank you very much. And these programs wouldn't be the same, ladies and gentlemen, without our own Cereal City Concert Band under the direction of Dr. Stephen White. Give them a big round of applause. All of our sponsors, Firekeepers, AccessVision, Greensmith Florist, all of the military, veteran, service organizations listed in the program. They've been all around giving out handouts. And yes, Firekeepers has even provided food. They still got more. When we're through, we can go ahead and clean it all up. Heaven's sakes, many of us have probably bought those sandwiches over and over and over, right? American Legion and Patriot Riders and the Blue and Gold Star families, give them a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for all they do. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the spouses, the family, the friends of all of our Vietnam veterans who came out today. As I mentioned earlier, we truly understand and appreciate your sacrifices. Up front on the table, and some of you have already seen it, in the brown bag is a tin pin that honors our family members. So please, afterwards, come up and get one. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Now, this is where you've really got to listen and pay attention, because I'm going to stage what's going to happen next. I know that might be tough for somebody who's not in the Air Force. So you just... Oh, excuse me, I'm too little to say that. I know you'll all get this, but pay very close attention. At the conclusion of this event, you just will really capture the moment of this entire day and make us all proud Americans. First, the Cereal City Concert Band will perform America the Beautiful, and we strongly encourage you all to sing along. In fact, I think the General has ordered us all to sing along. Correct, sir? That is a direction. And you're going to lead this. No, that wasn't the. Oh, I got it. So make sure you. After we sing America the Beautiful, the west hangar door will open. During that opening, be advised you'll hear the door alarm. And it'll be about 45 seconds while that door opens. So don't get all nervous. We're not having a fire alarm or anything. It's just a door opening. Once the door opens, we will all need to leave our seats, if we're able, and we can assist others if we need to, and proceed outside. Now, while we're doing this, the concert band will play while we're making our way outside. All right? Got that now? America the Beautiful, then we're going to open the door. Once outside, get your cameras ready, or your iPhones ready. As a Hooligans flight team, 2 T-34 Mentors, 1950-era military aircraft, will do a preliminary banana pass from east to west. All right? They're going to come over that way. Derek Anthony and Susan Owen from the Cereal City Concert Band will render echo taps. You do not need to, when you're out there, turn around and face the flag. Go ahead and render military honors in place, because you're outside. Immediately upon the conclusion of taps, the Hooligans flight team, comprised of pilots Tom Habisky, Chuck Staffer, will honor all our veterans and their families with a missing man formation. They'll come from west to east, right over us. Upon conclusion of the flyover, these two T-34s will taxi up to the ramp near our staging area, and if you want, you can visit with the pilots, thank them for doing it today. They always do a great job for us. And a closer look at the T-34 trainer aircraft. Got that down? Everybody got this down? No one's going to screw it up, right? I know the Air Force won't screw it up. Yeah, because we know what's happening, right? Okay, so let's get this started. Ladies and gentlemen, your Serial City Concert Band. Remember, you're going to play along America the Beautiful. I can hear you. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, your Serial City Concert Band. Okay, now the doors are opening. We are going to walk outside, so you might want to grab your coat.
Camera's ready.
She's got to go home. She just got out of work, so she's going to go home, let the dogs out. And then she can meet up with us.
Bravo! Bravo!
So how did Sally had a good turnout? That's great.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was great.
AccessVision. Your voice, your community.